Hey guys, welcome back to another Death Battle reaction. As you can see, I have a new avatar. I'm going to be using this one for both streams and reaction videos from now on. Also, as you saw, I'm gonna try and make my videos, give my videos a little bit more edits to make them slightly more entertaining. Also, another thing is that you can tell that Viz isn't here today for this reaction. They had important things to take care of, and also they just weren't as that into the death battle. Me personally, I never watched JJK, and I've only watched My Hero Academia up to season 3, but My Hero Academia still has a place somewhere in me, so I do care about this death battle to an extent. Now, as for who I want to win, I'm kind of hoping that Mahito wins. Now, before you get angry... Okay, look, I know that sounds bad. Alright, in all seriousness, I'm rooting for Shigaraki because, as I said, I've watched My Hero Academia up to season 3. But seeing how everyone to the lead up to this death battle is constantly saying that Shigaraki is going to sleep and how everyone wants to see Mahito lose, a part of me kind of wants Mahito to win just because how mad everyone would be, and that would be funny for me to see. But I'm rooting for Shigaraki, but a part of me kind of hopes that Mahito wins because, you know, that just makes funny. However, I should say that even if this death battle is a stomp for Shigaraki, doesn't mean that the death battle itself can't be good. For example, Saitama versus Popeye, Omni-Man versus Homelander, Goku versus Superman. All death battles where it's a complete stomp for one of the contestants, but that doesn't change the fact that they are still amazing death battles in their own right. Also, this death battle is going to be animated by Moro, as in the same person who made this.
So long, Doctor!
So yeah, that means that this battle is going to be completely 2D animated. And those who are probably similar to myself were wondering, like, wait, we're already doing this death battle? This death battle was one of the add-ons for the Kickstarter. Well, Moro has a habit of doing high quality animations within a short time frame, so they were able to do this death battle very quickly compared to others because of Moro. That also helps because considering what death battle is coming up soon, I'm pretty sure that they're trying to get some death battles they can do quickly out before the big one comes out. Because if you paid attention, we are only 2 death battles away from 200, including this one. And also I'm going to say now, I already know what the next matchup is because someone spoiled it in their thumbnail before I could watch this video. If you wanted to see my raw reaction to what the next matchup is, sorry about that. Anyway, I don't think I have anything more to say. I've put off this death battle long enough, so I just want to hurry up and get into it. I'm probably going to be a lot more silent for this one because I'm reacting to it by myself, but I still hope to at least make this somewhat entertaining. Pressing play in 3, 2, 1.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional
Bro,
limits until he
Shigaraki has a
activated his
very
inherent
sad
superpower,
backstory, dude.
or quirk.
It wasn't
His
something
mother
cool
was
like
the
flight or super
was
strength.
the
In
was
his
the
terror,
wielder of
he
All
accidentally
Might.
killed his whole
Shigaraki's mother was the wielder of All Might, I mean, One for All before All Might, and she left her family to be a hero, so causing his father to hate heroes. So yeah, that's just upsetting.
family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him.
And also the fact that no one wanted to help him or just abandon him simply because of the fact that his quirk made it that his skin was a lot more, you know, wrinkly than others, making his face more, you know, frightening. Like, have you seen him smile? It's creepy, but those smiles are genuine. Like just normal, genuine smiles. But because of, you know, how the quirk affects his skin, he looks a lot more frightening than he probably is. But anyway, moving on.
Only a hero was there to save him, but instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for One, the greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his League of Villains in destroying Hero Society.
With that came a new...
Did they ever show All for One's face? Again, I stopped watching after season 3, so I don't know if they ever showed his face. But if they didn't, it's kind of cool that they never showed his face.
name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin.
Also, I haven't seen what the track name is, but I saw art for this death battle titled Domain of Decay. And when I saw that, I was like, that needs to be the name of the track, bro. That just goes too hard. But if it's not, I'm not really that bothered by it.
Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on, they just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family that he killed, attached to his face.
I did not know that before this death battle. That's crazy. Also, where did All For One get those? Like, genuinely, how did he get those?
And explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his use of
Intense.
Decay started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
Yeah, it's that one hero that everyone says looks like Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team.
Yeah, I know that in that scene he was cutting off his leg, but that thought about him looking like Doofenshmirtz came into my mind.
With one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically.
Another thing that I didn't know before this death battle, bro is a League of Legends player. Also, that's another thing. Almost everyone was making fun of Shigaraki of how much of a gamer he was before into the lead up of this death battle, which was funny.
He whines like a baby when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All For One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All For One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation
I mean, yeah, have you seen the effects? It helped with his skin, how his quirk affected his skin, making him at least approachable in a way, as you could say.
vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes' Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch. Now the new name
Bro, My Hero Academia has some of the craziest attack names.
for my penis. Move over, gigantic Omega Storm.
I'm sorry, what?
Now the new name for my penis. Move over, gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became? Oh shit, more hands!
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
It's so creepy, dude. I mean, it's fitting, but like, dude, it's just something about it. It's just unsettling.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All for One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All for One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks, like super fast healing, air blast.
Essentially, within his own body, he's holding hostage the souls of the quirks he's consumed to work for him. Yeesh.
Radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's
Dude was grooming Mahito just so he could have a new body to take over for when he died. I don't even think it was in case he died. Dude knew he was gonna die at some point, because as you can tell from the series, his body was getting very old. I mean, he's been around for a long time.
entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life, all for one purpose: to create a soul so
I see what they did
corrupted
there.
it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All for One to take full control.
But All for One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All for One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised
Dude was so far gone. He told Deku to remember him as who he is now, not who he could have been.
to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
The one person who actually tried to help him. But Shigaraki knew the damage he did was already too far. Alright, time for Mahito.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito.
This
I've had
complete
people tell me
psychopath.
I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever afflict mankind.
And a person that almost every single person who knows him wants to see him die, whether it be in the show itself or in this death battle.
He's no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit. Innumerable spirits exist, weaker or stronger depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
And that's how this death battle is probably going to work. Mahito is going to try and touch Shigaraki, which allows Shigaraki to see him because, you know, he's in a life or death situation. That, or because of the fact that they're comparing spirits to visages, which visages are essentially similar to souls in a way. So yeah.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage.
That, which also means that if, in JJK, if visages can be destroyed and they are comparable to souls, that means that Shigaraki should be capable of killing Mahito.
May be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a jujutsu sorcerer to come in and kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special.
Because for some reason, in these situations, since it's an anime, it always has to be in Japan. Because, you know, it has to.
Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals. But Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball.
I hate the fact that his dogs are out, dude. There's so many shots of just his feet, dude. I hate that.
If nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idle transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own.
Like, bro does not take anything seriously. I've seen his fights. That description was accurate. Dude basically acts like a demented cartoon character.
In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants. Like Play-Doh, he can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your...
I mean, yeah, if your body was turned into a sword, I would probably imagine you have a hard time surviving that as well. Also, for those who probably... I'm pretty sure they're gonna say it in this video, but when Mahito reforms his body, he's not healing himself. He's merely just shifting his body to fill in the spots that were destroyed. Since they're using the Play-Doh analogy, imagine you have a ball of Play-Doh. You take out a piece of it, leaving a chunk, but you stretch over another piece of Play-Doh over the missing chunk to fill it in. That's essentially what Mahito is doing.
Soul, those physical wounds
he didn't heal it, merely just filled it in, / covered it over.
Fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch! God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the black flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of 2.5.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the Domain Expansion.
Oh shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a
Also, because the way how domains work. Domains take up a physical space. Anyone outside of them can't see them. So, meaning that they can be interacted with and or destroyed if you're strong enough.
barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, blah, blah. He also had a curse inside of him,
The king of curses, Sukuna.
which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the
And which also led to one of the greatest jumpings in anime history. Of editing me, play the clip. I remember seeing that scene for the first time. It had me dying laughing.
value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when in the
Oh look, they showed the jumping themselves.
Tons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when
But Future B is still going to play that clip because I just think it's funny.
in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into. A true blight on all mankind.
What is this music that's playing in the background right now? Like, it has nothing to do with the video itself, but I'm interested in what music this... For anyone who's watching this who knows what song is playing in the background at the moment, please tell me.
Wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
He only felt all that way simply just because that he thought dude was unkillable. But the moment he realized that he was going to die, he was like, actually, you know what? For some reason, I suddenly have the urge to, keep living.
For him, maybe. But Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
I already said it at the beginning, rooting for Shigaraki, but would find it very funny if Mahito won. This is one of the few times I've seen Moro actively animate gore like that. Like normally, Moro doesn't do that much gore in his animations. So to see him, you know, do that is a you know what I'm trying to say. And there he is.
I heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition, Sickum.
They're giving him the no moves. Bro, once again, Moro cooked. Oh, bro. This is gonna be a very gross death battle. I can tell. I just processed what he said. Did dude really just say game over? Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
Did you actually just say that?
Even Mahito was like, dude, did you actually just say game over? That's funny.
God, how lame!
He can never take things seriously. Oh, I just realized what they did. They're jumping him like he was jumped in that scene. Editing me, play the quip again. Okay, seriously. I'm gonna try and stop pausing that much, but still.
Audition over.
Did I get the part?
Decay!
The Black Flash. Oh hey, look! It's the reference Moro made in his last animation. Editing me, you know what to do. Okay, but Moro said that wasn't supposed to be a Black Flash. That was supposed to be like the KO punch from Smash Bros. It's just a coincidence that it happened to look like a Black Flash.
That all you got?
A 3.
That all you got?
Domain expansion. I can read your soul. You're just a scared little boy whose daddy is mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
He can't. It's not like he can break the spirit of someone whose spirit has already been broken.
Hands off my masterpiece.
I see what they did, bro. They mirrored Sukuna. That's sick.
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason. You grow up.
Let's go. My boy did it! I mean, was no one surprised? I mean, was anyone surprised?
Like a bitch.
With their complex power sets, this match was a puzzle to figure out, which is why we're breaking it down to 3 categories: physical stats, survivability, and their power.
Is it really a puzzle? I mean, I guess technically, like, it depends on if you think Shigaraki would be capable of hurting Mahito. But for me personally, despite curses being spirits, they still occupy a physical space and can be touched. And even though they can't be seen by people normally, if a strong enough curse is in the area, well, again, they can't be seen, they have a presence that can be sensed by other people. So yeah, even if they can't see them, they know that something's there. So I feel that Shigaraki, since, you know, his decay, you know, decays things, once he touches Mahito, it should be able to take effect, since they still take up a physical space. But that's how I see it. But anyway.
But first, let's address one thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito? He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Surge quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki's scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
Like, dude, I seen like a video that talks about this matchup. And bro, Shigaraki, in terms of pure stats, blows Mahito out of the water. Speed, strength, everything.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability, Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse, and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
I guess they could give him that one.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration.
That, and in the anime, they showed that when he touches someone, depending on where he touched them, and if they're fast enough, they can cut off the part of them that was touched by Mahito before it affects the rest of their body. So there's nothing to say that Shigaraki couldn't do the same.
The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
As in causing Deku to lose his quirk, essentially causing both All For One and One For All to be mutually destroyed. So both quirks are now forever gone. Again, I stopped watching after season 3, but I do know how it ends.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki...
Yeah, but like, look at these. Literally, The only thing that Mahito had was regeneration made him nearly impossible to kill.
Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
That joke wasn't that bad.
Next time on Death Battle.
And here it is.
Subscribe and join
Master
us November
Chief
to see
versus
more Death
Doomslayer.
Battle.
The Death Battle people have been wanting them to remake for years. As in a whole decade of wanting this Death Battle to be remade. But anyway, I don't really have much else to say. I pretty much got all my thoughts out in the analysis. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next Death Battle, and I'll see if I can get Viz to come back for that one. But Master Chief versus Doomslayer, if I'm correct, is the last Death Battle before number 200. And I'm not going to say what number 200 is in case you don't know. They already revealed what 200 is, but all I'll say, if you know, then you know that number 200 is a big one. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 500 before the end of the year. So if you do, that'll be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one.